at this point, certain supply issues were still a problem in the seedling Arks city. This would be greatly improved with additional facilities, or at the very least, better facilities. Well, let's go over what's happened in Day 9, shall we? An early morning completion of the steam steelworks research. And at this point, the leader of the seedling Arks city decided to have a second scout group. Something that would make finding what was needed much easier, as well as starting an improvement to the research facilities so that better technologies and improvements to them could be made. The second scout group was sent east rather than west. Well, in relation to the position of the seedling Arks city anyway. It was at this point that the steamworks were improved, which... oh yes, and strangely the automaton heading towards the nearest steam hub slipped down the road, literally. Well, it saves on travel time anyway. Funny, isn't it? Yes, that steam hub was only activated long enough to provide a closer refueling place. That way. That automaton could get back to work. And then steam cores, potential locations of them anyway, were highlighted on the map. Well, they were good enough places to search as any. Steam cores were necessary to improving structures past a certain point. Because although a lot of structures were, well, they just needed wood, steel, and someone to put it together. Others needed steam cores like a coal mine. It was determined that a second core Sorry. Equipment failure. Sorry about that. The automatons not only have slightly better efficiency, but they also cost a little less to make. Oh yes, and as for the law to be signed, prosthetics. Useful for anyone. Well, anyone missing a limb. And it appeared that the automaton previously working around the steam steelworks improvements considered the coal mine to be a higher priority. As for the next subject of research, better scouts. Well, faster, anyway. That's the way they can get to, well, pretty much anywhere they'd want to go, rather where their leader sent them. Faster. Whoever put these recording devices together they were clearly terrible at quality control. In fact, it was like those who adulterated goods. From what I've heard, like those who put a little bit of water with the butter to make it heavier, and potentially hazardous substances in bread. And don't get me started on the milk. Those who just want to cheat their customers. Well, if they got caught out, it would ruin their reputation. The same basic principle applies to whoever made this recording device, where reliability didn't appear to be the strong point of it. Yeah, that sounds about right. And we're the ones who have to put up to it. Put up with it. Rather. over. In this frozen Armageddon. Yes, that's one thing the Book of Revelations got wrong, and the Norse religion got right. I wouldn't be surprised if in Germany they did something stupid, like, I don't know, putting horns on the Viking helmets to make them look more evil. Yes, that just looks ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, horns on helmets. I mean, yes, it's ridiculous even in the terms of what I'd like to call psychological warfare. Then again, from what I've heard, in Poland they used to have warriors with feathers to make them look like wings. Yes, I know, I read. Oh yes, the Siege of Vienna. I doubt that the Ottomans would be faring much better than quite a few others. Sorry about that. Hopefully sufficient repairs were made. And one of these scouts groups was sent to one of the locations of interest, in the hopes that steam cores could be found. As far as the people of the seedling Arks city was concerned, it was just them. And they needed to focus on the mission. The mission being to preserve what they could from the horticultural side of what can be preserved. Instructions to improve their sleds would be communicated to the scouts groups already out there. And for a short time, the temperature decreased.
Move! Time to get to work.
The the coal production capability was expanded, although there was not that many to go around as far as automatons were concerned. Something would need to be done about that. The faster scout sleds were completed. After that, the automatons were the next priority. Specifically, how to make them with less materials. A landmark was found. As for the next destination, from the rock formation to the other location of interest marks on the map. Since it suggested that steam cores were in that general direction, it would be a good time to look in that direction. In the meantime, coal production was shooting through the roof. At least in regards to it being used quicker than it could be, well, it could be gathered quicker than it can be used. Which would probably be just as well, considering what needed to be done. With the huge drop in temperature approaching within the next few days, well, I'll tell you how that turns out. Meanwhile, food situation needed to be kept on top of. At this point, the priority was to make sure that the amount of food coming in was more or less the same amount as the amount of food going out. to make sure that the people don't starve to death. Although a surplus would need to be gathered eventually. In the Misty Valley, there were some useful supplies, but no steam cores. They would need to be searched for before, well, the scouts could be recalled. As for the factory, that would be in use when the improvements to the automaton could be made. Speaking of which, it was decided that it'd be a good time to improve the generator's capabilities, specifically increasing the amount of heat it produced. Again, it would require a good amount of resources, but in the long term, that's a good investment. Already, there was much more automatons than there was in our city. Although there'd need to be more automatons, considering how few humans there were. At the end of Day 10's work shift, the people were perhaps unwisely going towards the second steam steelworks, along with the road connecting it, in order to make it operational. Not again. much as it was a constant battle against the elements in our case. It's a constant battle to keep this working without it starting to generate smoke like a miniature factory or anything else that's industrial. I'm most irritated. Coal was plentiful for once. As for the location to the south, it was just a landmark. And a choice of where to send that scout group next. The stone ship was as good a place as any. The other location could be one they could go for next. Although, on day 11, another automaton could be constructed. Which would mean an additional one workforce. One that didn't need to sleep. It just needed to briefly head towards the nearest steam hub in order to, well, refuel. Which is still less time than it would take a human to rest. Well, there was routine maintenance, of course, but that's not that frequent, is it? Coal would not be running out anytime soon, but fortune was fickle in Frostland. Well, once I get to that part, of this account of the seedling Arks. You'll find out. I just need a break. And this recording device needs some maintenance.